I'm gonna guide you through Pinaka's challenges in Mecha BREAK. In my opinion, this is some of the most difficult challenges, perhaps even a little bit of RNG in here. But if you're able to get through this, you get one of the better titles in the game called Medic, and you can show off the fact that you beat this in every game mode. The last time I did this for Panther, I went through the explanation of what each of the skills are. I'm gonna skip that, assuming that you're here because you already know what Pinaka does. So with that, let's go ahead and get into challenge 1. Mission 1 is an escort mission, and who doesn't like a good escort mission in a game featuring like super fast mechs moving at like Mach 0.1 speed. Here the goal is to just get the Stego to the finish line. It's not gonna attack, it's not gonna do anything at all but walk, and it's a bit of a slog. Now you have a couple of buttons here, and ideally, you don't really want to work that hard in here. If anything, you might actually get yourself killed. Any turrets can be stopped with a wall. You could waste your bullets trying to shoot them, but I think those bullets are better off on the enemy mechs that are in here. Good wall can stop them from coming at you as well, them being the enemy mech, that is. This one, for example, I just tossed down the wall. If it wants to walk up to us, it has to go around the wall. This isn't like super applicable to PvP combat, but if this was match-mac, you want to actually use the walls on turrets. Don't bother attacking them and save Pinaka's limited ammo on actually attacking targets that are mobile. If Stego does lose some of its HP, you can just use your basic healing on it. If it gets really low, if Stego looks like it's gonna die, I mean like legit will not survive based on all the attacks coming out of it, then you need to just use your emergency drone that will cause it to not take any damage at all and heal up. Same thing for you if you are taking too much damage and you have no fluid armor, just use your emergency drone on yourself or the basic drones to keep your life up. Any other damage dealt to Stego will probably be mitigated with just your primary. Once that's done, then you are good to move on to the next challenge. Challenge 2 is a test where you activate 3 signal towers just like you would in PvP. The first one is just against some immobile turrets. Once again, we're just using our barrier to stop them from attacking us. If they do hit you, it is a one-shot, so you have to block at least the back one. The other one can be blocked from just line of sight. Then we get to fight Panther. Panther can be usually stopped with just a single wall because these Panther players love to just do the spear with nothing else. So it's gonna ram itself into your wall. That's just enough time for you to actually finish off the capture, heal yourself up. In this case, I'm using the emergency support drone. Not always the best choice here because we're gonna need that for Welcon. Welcon is really where you're gonna lose this challenge the most. And the reason why is that once you're in that box, the only thing to protect you is the anti-stagger that comes from the emergency drone. So in this setup, we actually have to place walls strategically so that we can cap the point while Welcon is busy trying to get around the walls. Especially if it starts doing spin the win, it will get stuck trying to attack the wall the whole time. I don't know if that's like a normal thing Welcon does, it just can't dash after spin the win. But once it initiates that and you play the wall to the best of your ability, you can do the cap like usually just fine. Healing is done mostly from the regular drone, and then you save the emergency drone just to break the stagger.
Challenge success.
Challenge 3, and this is where you're probably going to spend most of your time. This is against 3 enemies. It is a Welcon, Hurricane, and a Stego versus your own Hurricane and your own Welcon. Your goal here is to stop them from capturing points. You cannot do the capture yourself. Hurricane is the weakest target on their team. Ideally, if you can kill Hurricane, which is something that this mech can kind of do by itself, then you will probably be a little bit closer to winning. However, the big issue here is that while you're doing that, the other enemy mechs can capture points. So you have to keep a good look of both A and B especially to make sure that, for example, Welcon doesn't just drop a box and do the capture, or Stego does the invisibility and then tries to capture. Most of the time you can just use your wall at long range to stop the immediate cap, but then you have to go over there and kind of draw some aggro or else you're going to be stuck. If you manage to kill a Hurricane though, this is going to be infinitely easier because otherwise the Welcon, enemy Welcon, is going to be attacking you the whole time. Mitigate Welcon's aggression using almost strictly emergency drone on yourself. The others, if they die, yes, that's bad. You may have to restart, it may be a loss, but ideally all of your healing is being dedicated to yourself. Challenge 4 is versus Tricera and Inferno. You're going to be fighting Tricera first. Tricera is, of course, a turret, and you know what we do against turrets, we drop the wall on them. One thing you have to keep in mind though is that the wall almost instantly goes away as soon as Tricera starts to move or starts to damage it. So you can only do a little bit of damage to Tricera's actual health bar. I think it costs probably like 5 of these walls to kill one Tricera. So you're gonna have to do basic attacks to get through Tricera's fluid armor. Now, you're trading your own emergency drone for the most part in exchange for Tricera's armor. Think about it this way, your armor can be replenished, which is your health bar, by healing yourself, but Tricera cannot. So once you break Tricera's fluid armor, you have to kill it because the enemy Inferno will spawn and you only have so much time to get through. If you can get Tricera to around like 20%, one wall will kill it. But ideally, you have to get through all of this without losing too much fluid armor for when it's time to fight Inferno. Now, what I like to do, once we take out Tricera, I do hug the wall, just like when in PvP. If you have no fluid armor, you hide until it regenerates, and then you go back to the next 1v1. Inferno is actually harder to defeat than Tricera in my opinion, but you have one advantage against Inferno in that it dies in like 2 to 3 walls. So similar to the Tricera fight, you're going to need to whittle down its fluid armor, but the amount of damage you have to do to its actual HP is a lot lower thanks to how much damage a wall does to a single Inferno. In fact, in this setup, I actually killed it because it pinned itself against the wall with 2 walls and then constant damage. But just one quick tip here, you can't just spam the wall because Inferno has this after image tech. Your wall will only hit the shadow clone instead of the actual mech. Challenge 5 is you versus 3 other strikers, Lumine, Inferno, and Welcon, which are like really bad matchups, versus you, Elyseness, and a Hurricane of your own. This is basically what playing with real players is like. Some of them you can trust, some of them you can't trust. You can trust the Elyseness to do damage. Hurricane is just kind of there. I would not trust that thing with your life. If you can keep Elyseness alive, I think you can win this. And the way how you would do that is with a combination of your regular support drone and then your actual healing tether. You are also going to get targeted by the Welcon. So ideally, you're using your emergency drone on yourself unless Elyseness is really close to death. And remember, Elyseness has 3 health bars. Hurricane does not need any help staying alive. You yourself need to be doing damage with Pinaka's right click. That's going to be mostly used on the Welcon. Lumine is very mobile. I highly doubt you'll be able to take out Lumine first. But if you can take out the Welcon first, then that is a major part of this entire challenge just done. With Welcon down, the next step is to take out the Inferno. This is very similar to the fight that we did before, where you're gonna have to use the walls because it's gonna do a very high amount of damage. Lumine is also gonna try to keep Inferno alive. You can out-damage the heal of Lumine, or you can try to DPS Lumine to get it to move around and not heal as much. But as I said, Because it's a fight of numbers and, you know, you can't always trust your teammates, if you can at least focus the same mech that Aleseness is focusing, then you yourself are focusing on keeping Aleseness alive. I think that is how you get your win here. If you made it this far, congratulations, you are now a certified medic in Mecha BREAK. With this, you'll be able to equip the emblem that I don't know if you've seen anyone else use because it's a very difficult challenge, but consider yourself proud to have this equipped. If you liked what you saw, leave a like on the video, subscribe, let me know which mech you'd like to see in the challenge next so I can work on that one and get the video out. Either way, I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll catch you on the next one.